Hello everyone, my name is Ekaterina Kardakova. I'm an opera singer, voice and public speaking coach. This is my first video in a new podcast which is called Agile Life, Be a Better Version of Yourself. I want to dedicate this podcast to all the people who want to be more happy, flexible and adaptive to all the changes are happening in the world right now. I see in my family, friends, in my surrounding, I see so many people who cannot get along with all these changes. They are getting depressed or have more burnout because, of course, all these changes are pretty stressful for our psyche. So my idea is to give you some tools, exercises, methodology, techniques to get better with all these changes, and first of all to be more happier. So what is Agile Life? This is a technique which is basically was made for IT projects and has a goal to optimize processes to be more flexible and adaptive. So a couple of years ago, Agile Life, now we call it Agile Life, started to be not only for IT projects, but also for the best or biggest project, which is called Life, for people who want to change some habits, to optimize their lives, to change something in their lives. So the Agile Life technique has 5 basics. The first one is that I will also give you an example, all the goals you do in a short but repeatedly time. For example, we always call it in Agile lifestyle sprints, 2 or 3 weeks. Next is, of course, flexibility and adaptation, meaning that you have always changed your actions, how you do and what you do to achieve better goals or bigger or achieve your goals you want to. Next one is that you always have to reflect to make your action more efficient and effective. Next one is the priority, and I think this is one of the best tools in this Agile Life technique, is that you put a goal you want to achieve, but you also within these goals write your little small goals with prioritizing. And my personal story is that how and why I use Agile Life technique so often in my private and personal life is that exactly this, that when I want to achieve a goal, I firstly have to prioritize things. And before I learned about Agile technique, I didn't know how to prioritize things. I thought that everything I want, all the goals are so important because I want it so much. But actually, now when I learned it and use it for over 3 years now, I learned that not every goal is important, the most important, or maybe not the most important at this moment of time, all the time. So this prioritizing gives a lot. How to do it? How to do it? For example, when I started this Agile technique, Agile sprint for the first time, my goal was to find the balance between work and life. I work a lot and I have lots of things to think about, and I often skip my personal life, but also I skipped sport, I skipped time with my family and friends, and I understood that this is definitely doesn't make me happy. What to do? I had to learn to plan more time for myself, and at the beginning it was pretty hard because I'm very ambitious person. I want I want things to be done, and to be done very good. So I had to learn how to prioritize things and to be focused. What also this sprints and Agile technique teaches you is to be focused. And when, for example, I set the goal, I want to find the balance between my work and life, and I made a sprint within 3 weeks. I put 3 goals I want to achieve. And this is also so important for your brain, first of all, because when your brain knows After 3 weeks, this is the deadline. It will be done, so I can relax. Then your brain and you start, or the brain starts to work more efficient when it knows when is the deadline. Because, for example, I personally always thought like, okay, this is my goal and I don't want to push. I just will go with the flow, and it took me pretty long to achieve this goal. But with sprints, it really, as I said before, helped me to prioritize these small goals to achieve this big goal. And then also to do it more correctly and more efficient. So you put a goal, you do a sprint, and you can decide you do it 2 weeks or 3 weeks. For example, now at the beginning of the year, many people say, okay, now I will do more sports, or I want to lose some weight, but it's pretty hard to change the habits. How to do it? You put 3 goals for this sprint, 2 or 3 weeks. You decide. Then you prioritize your goals. So what I did is that, for example, I had one big goals and I wrote down 10 little goals, and then I put the priorities. What's the most important at this moment to do? 1, 2, 3. Only 3 goals to achieve the big goal. So every week I did 3 weeks. Every week I put neither same goals, or I changed them a little. So at the end, I could achieve my biggest goal. So every week, at the end of the week, I also wrote a feedback to myself, answering these 4 questions. First one is, what did I do to achieve my 3 goals? I wrote down this. Then the second question is, what I didn't do. This. Third question is, why I didn't do that. And the fourth is not a question, but it's a correction. What can I change in my action to be more efficient and achieve my goal or goals better and faster? And the interesting thing, when I wrote down, and I still every week write down and answer this question, I find out better solutions how to achieve these goals. So better actions, and better actions are really less actions to give you more and better results. This is, I think, the most important thing, because I had, before I knew the Agile technique, I had a habit to do many things which actually was not that efficient. It took me only so much time and energy. And now when I precisely know, okay, this action didn't work, I can optimize it by doing that. And next week, the second week of the sprint, I a little changed it and did it different. So basically I did less, but had better, bigger results. And this is also how it works with all the goals. Also, when you want to do more sports or eat less, for example, you would like to lose some weight, what can you do within these 3 weeks to change your habits, to get into better shape, to feel better, to feel happier? And I tell you that when you do these sprints, you do 3 weeks, or at least I do 3 weeks, then 1 week break, and then 3 weeks. Within these 3 weeks, the brain works so enormously effective. It really gives every week so much better solutions how to optimize your actions, or what else you can do to achieve your goals. It's really, really fantastic, especially when the brain knows that I have only these 3 weeks, and during these 3 weeks, I really have to work as efficient as I can, and then relax. And at the end of these 3 weeks, at the end of the spring, I take 1 hour, make me a delicious tea, and I write down all my insights. What happened in these 3 weeks? What did I do to achieve my goals, and what changed? How did I optimize all this process to act less, but to get better results. And the most important thing is that also these sprints and these agile techniques really helps you to be focused on the goals. Because I know, for example, I put some goal I want to achieve, and I do things, I do some actions, but sometimes I lose focus because there are so many disruptive things, or something comes up. What actually I also noticed when every time when I wrote down why I didn't do this or that, I always wrote down I didn't have enough time, or not always, pretty often. And then I ask myself, so why didn't you have time? Because I didn't plan enough time. Sometimes I plan for something 1 hour, but at the end it takes me 2 or 2.5 hours, so much longer. Some things takes more time. And when I see at the end of the week that some things actually take more time, so I have to plan more time. I have to plan, for example, more time for my lunch, or I have to plan sometimes some spots in case if I have a sudden call with a client, or I have suddenly do some paper stuff I didn't plan. So it really helps you to plan your days and to be more effective, and first of all, to be more happy in your actions. Because when you see at the end of the week, oh, with small steps, I changed some habits, and I feel so happy about this. So I optimize my actions, I optimize things to achieve these goals for the next week. And I see at the end of the next week, second week, oh, I got even better. And it's like, every time you get this shot of dopamine, the hormone of happiness. Oh, because I see the results. And at the end of the sprint, I see that actually it's not that difficult to change some habits. It just needs good technique, and it needs some exercises to do, some work to do to achieve these goals. So if you have more questions about Agile Life technique, write in the comments below. Thank you so much for your thumbs up. Share this video and subscribe to my channel. We see each other in the next video. Bye bye.